Hello, Valerie. Welcome.
Hi.
It's
Good
been a long
afternoon.
time that we've been working toward this moment, isn't
I
it?
know it's been a long
A
time
long
getting
time,
here.
and I have a feeling you're probably not done yet, right?
Still more.
Still more. When did your book tour start? About 2 weeks ago?
No,
Three?
the book came out October 22nd.
Oh.
And we now live
But you
in
were
Santa
you were
Fe.
touring on deep cover first, right?
No, I mean I've been all over the place, and I've only been home for about 36 hours
Really?
since then.
And
Yeah.
how much more do you have to do?
A little bit more here, and then I get to go home for the holidays.
Yeah. How many states have you been to now?
I don't know. I'll have to count them.
Well, you're probably beginning to feel like a presidential candidate, right?
I wouldn't live that life if you gave me $20 million.
Somebody might, so watch it.
Well, you have to look at the bedside,
Right.
thing, notepad. Now, where am I?
What
What
you wake up?
Sheraton is this?
Yes,
Yeah.
when you wake up, and
What
they all
Sheraton
look
again? Yeah.
exactly the same. And then you'll be done, and then I guess you get to start working on the paperback version.
I'm
done that
hoping
yet?
there'll be a version that doesn't have so many black lines.
Well,
in it.
that's what I was going to ask. Will the paperback version be able to be more, realistic?
We're still following through. We're on appeal, as you may know. My publisher, Simon & Schuster, and
Right, and
I
you
sued the CIA this summer. We lost the first round. We are appealing, and we will continue so that. As it is now, the CIA has taken the position that I'm not permitted to acknowledge my agency affiliation
Right.
prior to January 2002.
Right.
So we can talk about that later. But so that is really what the whole point about this lawsuit is, and it's censorship. It's First Amendment issues.
Is there anything in Scott McClellan's revelation of a week ago that is promoting his book about how he says unintentionally misinformed people? I think I have it here. He says that what he said in the press room about you said there was one problem, it was not true. I had unknowingly passed along false information, and 5 of the highest ranking officials in the administration were involved in my doing so. Some of your favorite people, Rove, Libby, Cheney, the president's chief of staff, Andrew Card, and the president himself. Does that help any of your...
Well, I think it expands the narrative.
I mean, is he on your witness list if you need him?
Not yet, but he might be.
Might be. Okay.
But we will see. I mean, I think it confirmed what we had suspected all along. But essentially, what he's saying is that the president, the vice president, the president's chief of staff, Andrew Card, all knew, or as he says, involved, when Scott McClellan went out in front of the American public and said, well, Mr. Libby and Mr. Rove knew nothing about this leak, and they had nothing to do with it. They knew that was not accurate.
Right, and he claims that he was just doing what they told him, and that's another story. But I said that Robert Novak is going to be appearing here in January.
You're an equal opportunity Q&A.
Well, it wasn't a plan, but yes, exactly. What do you think we should serve him? You've got any suggestions for the menu?
Isn't revenge a dish best served
Right.
cold?
Oh, yeah, well, we'll talk to the chef. But
Yeah.
have any questions you want me to ask him?
I have nothing to say to
You've
Mr.
got
Novak.
nothing to. Have you literally left Washington behind?
Literally and figuratively,
Really,
I
is
think.
it?
Yes. I miss my friends, some whom are here today.
Yeah.
We had a great school for the children. We loved our home and our neighborhood. But we moved about 7 months ago to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I love it. We were just at the table talking about the climate is dry. I never used the air conditioner this summer. I mean, in Washington, that would be absolutely unheard of.
And has it helped in a therapeutic way of working some of the rage out of your system?
Yes, I think so. It's a beautiful part of the world. I don't feel any bitterness. I don't hold any grudges. That's not how I'm made up. But I am still angry, and the story continues to go on. But we're determined not to be defined and live solely through this. I mean, we want to move on.
And you can do that better from there than if you
It is. It's a very rich, we've been warmly welcomed. It's a very rich community, culturally, intellectually, artistically. So it's, and I don't miss the traffic. What can I say?
No. And you've got scorpions rather than White House officials.
No, that's just
right?
my husband.
Do you see the world differently from out there?
It does, having the physical remove and not literally having the Washington Post land on, with a thud on your doorstep with the latest twist. And in the Washington Post case, I dare say sometimes the latest
Twist is a twist.
a twist is a twist of this is helpful. But the truth has been coming out slowly, and it's much nicer to be on this side than when we met, 2 years ago,
right,
2.5 years ago.
Right, when you were right in the thick of it, right? But I find it, and maybe you don't, maybe this is just me, a little bit melancholy, perhaps sad. You come here as a young woman, with your eyes bright. You're coming into this agency. It's what you wanted to do. It's a wonderful opportunity. You go into this career where you have skills, knack. You're clearly suited to it. I mean, that's one of the most interesting things about your book, I think, is showing us the Valerie who was the spy and what that meant. But you had invested in a career that was based out of Langley, and you ultimately have to go away. You ultimately had to leave town. Am I the only one who finds that sad?
Of course, I miss my career. I was very proud to serve my country. I loved what I was doing. I found a great sense of satisfaction working on counterproliferation issues. But I resigned in January 2006. I just felt too much had happened. I could no longer do what I had been highly trained to do, live and work overseas in a covert capacity.
No, you were never going to be covert again.
No, you can't put that genie back in the bottle.
No.
But I'm really sad. I mean, my career and all this is really inconsequential to the larger issues at stake. People lose their jobs every day.
Yeah.
But the larger issues, this is not a Republican issue, this is not a Democratic one, this is one of damage to our national security done by senior administration officials to advance their own political agenda. And that's what I get sad about.
Yeah.
Not, I don't spend a whole lot of time, I try not to spend any time thinking about poor me.
Do you want to spend a lot of time on that, though, or do you hope to see a point of closure? And what would that closure be?
Well, my husband and I have filed and are pursuing a civil lawsuit against Vice President Cheney, Libby, Rove, Armitage, and John Doe's. And we did it not without a great deal of discussion, some at very high volume, because we knew, one, how much it would cost. We knew that that it would be very intrusive and further prolong the pain. But don't forget, during Mr. Libby's trial, we were promised that the Vice President and Mr. Libby would testify, and they never did. So this lawsuit, this civil suit, remains the only vehicle to get to the truth. These public officials totally abused your trust, our trust, their positions to enact political revenge, and this is a way to make sure it doesn't happen again. So we will pursue this.
What's the timetable? I mean, when are there any dates set for anything?
We're waiting on the appeal. The judge essentially ruled. I'm not a lawyer, but from what I got from it, he didn't rule at all on the merits of the case. He knew that there are some significant legal questions at stake here, primarily to do with. Does the vice president enjoy absolute immunity as the president does?
Right.
We would say no. And so the judge in the case, I think, recognized that this was going to be decided on a much higher level than his court. He just basically took a pass.
Do you need this administration to be over for your case to get traction? Do you need them to be out of office and...
No, despite all that has happened, we are a firm believer in the system of justice.
Right.
And we do believe that it will probably go all the way up to the Supreme Court because of the issues involved. But these things do take time. I think the next thing will be in January. There some wrangling among the defendants, not on our side, about dates to file the appeal.
Right.
That's where it is right now.